Hey guys, welcome back, folks. How are you guys doing? I was gonna go back to reading no, I keep saying indictment, the lawsuit that is placed against Mr. ex-mayor Rudolph Giuliani. They all call him Rudy Giuliani. From a former employee slash business slash client slash uh intimate individual. So what I'm gonna do is gonna go ahead on and read this indict. I keep saying indictment. This this lawsuit, and I'm gonna start from the beginning. I know I started off before reading, and those who missed the reading is on my previous live, but I'm gonna start from the beginning. Civil lawsuit. Thank you, Bree. Thank you. It's a civil lawsuit that was done in the beginning of January. The initial complaint was submitted at the beginning of January, and when nothing came through, the young lady decided to go full force in doing this charge. Now, listen, this has started like a domino effect now, because now the DOJ is asking for an investigation on the comment that the young lady put in not indictment, the civil lawsuit, something having to do with some sort of payment for for people to get a pardon by the president. So it's a lot of things that's going on. So what we're gonna do, go ahead and dig into this and into this lawsuit. Remember, we're just reading. We don't have an opinion. Well, I don't have an opinion. People in the chat might have an opinion, but Sylvia's gonna stay as neutral as possible, because what I'm doing is now is giving you information, nothing else. And I'm going to not put it on the screen because I want to read it to you guys from my own paperwork here, because I don't want to have any kind of copyright infringement or whatever, right? So I'm gonna just, and even though this is public record, okay? So anybody wants to go into the public records of the court system, they can get this copy themselves or wherever, okay? But I'm gonna go ahead and read this to you guys. This is hopefully you guys are getting some information on this. Remember, this is for information and newsworthy reporting. All right, here we go. The plaintiff, and if I say her name wrong, please forgive me, because I always screw up people's names. So help me out. So don't beat up on me if I say her name wrong. So her last name is shows Dunfree. Okay. Oh, thank you for the cash app. Okay, let me just y'all, we have a little thing here that whenever I get a cash app, I'm gonna play my little music here. Here it go. Ready? Money. Thank you. Money, so much money. Thank you so much for the cash app, Dr. TTH. Thank you. All right, let's get going now. I'm going to hold off the cash app to the end. So I'll do my little thank yous afterwards. Okay, here we go. The plaintiff is Noel Dunfree, and the against Randolph W. Giuliani Partners LLC, Giuliani Group LLC, Giuliani Securities and Safety LLC, John and or Jane Doe 1 through 10 defendant. And the it says plaintiff Noelle Dunfree, Miss Dunfree, by and through her undersigned counsel, attorney Abram Fronterman, LLP, brings the verified complaint against defendant Randolph W. Giuliani Partners, LLC, GP, Giuliani Group LLC GG, Giuliani Security and Safety LLC GSS, collectively the Giuliani Companies, and John and Jane or Jane John and or Jane Doe 1 through 10, and alleges as the following upon knowledge as to her and her own action and otherwise upon information and belief. Introduction. This lawsuit arises from unlawful abuse of power, wide ranging sexual assault and harassment, wage theft, and misconduct by Randolph W. Giuliani and his companies. Number two, when Giuliani hired Ms. Dunphy on January 2019, he was at the height of his influence serving as the personal lawyer for then President Donald Trump. He had fashioned himself publicly as a major player in American politics and a successful businessman and, important, power broker who yielded enormous control over others. Giuliani worked aggressively. Number three. Giuliani worked aggressively to hire Ms. Dunphy, offering her what seemed like a once in a lifetime opportunity to work as his director of business development with a salary. Y'all ready to hear the salary? Drum roll, y'all. Let me do a little drum roll for the salary. Hold on. Drum roll, ready? Let's see. Hold on. I'm looking for the drum roll. Okay, let's see. Ready? Let's chime it in. You ready? $1 million per year plus expenses. Did y'all hear that? $1 million plus expenses. Who says that man ain't did nothing wrong? Y'all weird as F. I'm reading the paperwork. Why are we weird if I'm just reading the paperwork? I am not a hater of anybody. I just read the paperwork. What is wrong with reading the paperwork? Stop it. You come to this channel, y'all. Block that weirdo. Please block him because I'm sitting here reading the paperwork. Y'all cannot stop me from reading the paperwork. All right, here we go. If you can't come in here nicely and stop calling us names, then you will be blocked. I'm going to give you one more chance. If you keep up with the nasty words, nasty mouth, nasty attitude, you will be blocked, okay? Let's behave, okay? All right. And added endorsement, Gianni also offered her to provide pro bono legal representation to Ms. Dunphy in connection with an ongoing dispute arising from an abusive ex partner. To Ms. Dunphy, the chance to work with an influential politician once dubbed America's mayor, combined with the prospect of free legal representation by a former United States attorney for the Southern District of New York, was a rare opportunity and was simply too good to pass up. But Giuliani offered, number four, Giuliani offered came with a significant catch. Giuliani was in the midst of an acrimonious divorce, and he told Miss Dunphy that her pay would have to be deferred and employment kept secret until the divorce proceeding finished. He claimed that his crazy ex-wife and his lawyer were watching his cash flow and that his ex-wife would attack and retaliate against any female employee that Giuliani hired. Giuliani promised Ms. Dunphy that his divorce would be resolved any day now, and therefore the deferred of her pay and the need to keep her employment secret would end soon. Ms. Dunphy reluctantly agreed to defer her pay and not to publicize her employment because she viewed her job, the salary, and the free legal representation as worth the wait. Number five, unfortunately, Giuliani's seemingly generous offer was a sham motivated by his secret desire to pursue a sexual relationship with Miss Dunphy. In total disregard with the restraint that should have protected her as his employee and client. As Giuliani later admitted in a recorded statement, he wanted Miss Dunphy from the day he interviewed her. Number six, Giuliani began abusing Miss Dunphy almost immediately after she started working for the defendant. He made clear that satisfying his sexual demands, which came virtually anytime, anywhere, was an absolute requirement of her employment and of his legal representation. Giuliani began requiring Miss Dunphy to work at his home and out of a hotel room so that she would be at his beck and call. He drank morning, noon, and night and was frequently intoxicated, and therefore his behavior was always unpredictable. Number seven, Giuliani also took Viagra constantly. While working with Miss Dunphy, Giuliani would look at Miss Dunphy, point at his erect penis, and tell her that he could not do any work until you take care of this. Quote. Thus, Miss Dunphy worked under constant threat that Giuliani might demand sex from her at any moment. Even when COVID-19 pandemic halted Giuliani's ability to physically assault her, he demanded that she disrobe during their work-related video conferences. Number eight, Giuliani also abused his position as Ms. Dunphy's lawyer to pressure her into sex. As one instance, for example, Giuliani promised Ms. Dunphy that he would give her $300,000 if he would forego her legal if she would forego her legal right in connection with her pending case and F me like crazy. This statement is recorded. Number nine, as Ms. Dunphy continued her work for Giuliani and the Giuliani companies, the work environment became increasingly hostile. In addition to his sexual demand, Giuliani went on an alcohol-drenched rant and included sexist, racist, and anti-Semitic remarks, which made the work environment unbearable. Many of these comments were recorded. Number 10. Despite of horrible condition that she endured, Ms. Dunphy excelled at work. She generated substantial business of opportunity opportunity was available around the clock, helped Giuliani maintain his public image, and diligently ensured that his day-to-day business needs were met. Ultimately, however, Giuliani and his company calculously tossed Ms. Dunphy aside, never paying her for the work she performed, and leaving her traumatized by the abuse she had suffered. And they have a footnote number as discussed in further below. Giuliani gave Ms. Dunphy permission to record this interaction. So she's saying that he gave her permission to record it. Number 11, Giuliani presented himself as a generous employer and a hero who used his legal prowess to save Miss Dunphy from a difficult situation. but he was never of those things. He was neither of those things. Giuliani assaulted and harassed Miss Dunfree, forced her to work in deplorable work environment in secret, and robbed her of her pay she is owed. Through this case, Ms. Dunfree seeks a measure of justice from a man who thought his power and connection rendered him untouchable. Parties. Number 12. Ms. Dunfree is an individual who reside in New York at a certain time and Florida at other times during the relevant time period. 13. Rudolph W. Giuliani is an individual who, at all relevant time, was a resident of the state of New York, New York County. Number 14. Defendant Giuliani Partner LLC is a Delaware limited liability company with a principal place of business in New York, New York County. Upon information and belief, Giuliani and is the sole member of Giuliani Partner and exercises operation control over the entity. Number 15. Defendant Giuliani Group LLC is a Delaware limited liability company with a principal place of business in New York, New York County. Upon information and belief, Giuliani was and is the sole member of Giuliani Group and exercises operating control over the entity. Number 16, Defendant Giuliani Security and Safety LLC is a Delaware limited liability company with its principal place of business in New York, New York County. Upon information and belief, Giuliani was and is the sole member of Giuliani Group and exercises operating control over the entity. Number 17, upon information and belief, John and or Jane Doe 1 through 10 are individuals who reside in the state of New York. Number 18, Giuliani's company comprised of single employer and single integrated enterprise since they shared interrelated operations, centralized control of labor relations, common management, and common ownership or financial control. 19. Upon information and belief, Giuliani owns a controlling interest in each of Giuliani's companies and exercises complete dominion and control over Giuliani's company. Giuliani and the Giuliani companies constitute a joint employer with respects to Ms. Dunfree, since they share authorities to hire and fire employees such as Ms. Dunfree, determine rate, method, and time of her pay, approve payment of business expense, and had authority to discipline her, control her work schedule, and other terms and condition of her employment, and direct and supervise her work. 21. The work performed by Ms. Dunfree benefited all defendants and or directly or indirectly furthered their joint interests, and defendants share control of Ms. Dunfree's employment either directly or indirectly because defendants either control or controlled by or are under common control with each other. Defendant as therefore collectively Ms. Dunfree's joint employer under New York labor law, broad definition of employer 29 CFR 791.2b. Jurisdiction and venue. 22. The court has personal jurisdiction pursuant to Civil Practice Law and Rule CPLR 301 because inter alia Giuliani has resided in New York at all relevant time, and each of the Giuliani companies has a principal place of business in New York at all relevant time. 23. Venue is proper in the county pursuant to CPLR 503 because a substantial part of the event given rise to Miss Dunfree claims took place in New York County, where Giuliani reside, work, and maintain offices for Giuliani's companies. Factual allegation A. A. 24. Ms. Dunfree's background. Ms. Dunfree is a Columbia University graduate and skilled businesswoman with 22 years of experience in business development, associate producing, and communication. 25. Ms. Dunfree has owned her own consulting firm, Strategic Consultants, since 2001. 26. Throughout her career, Ms. Dunfree has worked with companies to generate increased business, create new revenue stream, and promote positive brand image. 27. Despite her professional successes, Ms. Dunfree has experienced substantial pain and hardship. When she met Giuliani, Miss Dunphy was highly vulnerable, having just begun the arduous process of recovering from severe domestic abuse. She was involved in a difficult lawsuit arising from that situation, and she was desperate as an opportunity to move forward in a positive direction. B. Background of Giuliani and Giuliani's companies. 28. Giuliani is a lawyer, former mayor of New York City, and former United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. 29. Giuliani prides himself as a well-connected politician, power broker. When Ms. Dunfree met Giuliani, he was known as a longtime friend and close confidant to then President Donald Trump, in addition to being a member of Trump's legal team. 30. Giuliani also owned and managed several businesses, including the Giuliani companies. 31. Giuliani operates the Giuliani companies as his personal fiefdoms, disregarding virtually all corporation formalities and blurring the boundaries between company and their personnel. And then it says a footnote: Miss Dunfree was granted permission to process under pseudonym of Jane Doe in that lawsuit. Number 3, upon information and believed Giuliani law license have been suspended in New York and Washington, D.C. Okay. Let's continue. The companies and their personnel, upon information and belief, employees of Giuliani Company regularly acted and referred to themselves as working for Giuliani and did not maintain separation among the Giuliani companies. For example, Giuliani's former intern CEO, Maria Ryan, wrote an email that GP and GSS are one, meaning that they operate as a single company. Upon information and belief, Giuliani companies had intermingled bank accounts, and Giuliani treated his corporation credit card as his own personal credit card. Number 32, upon information and belief, Giuliani has a history of using his business, including not limited to Giuliani Company, to groom and aggressively pursue women in sexual relationship. 33, for example, upon information and belief, Giuliani repeatedly agreed to give significant job title and large salary to women he found attractive with the intention of having a sexual relationship with them. Upon information and belief, Giuliani achieved this goal in several instances and engaged in sexual relationship with women he had hired, whose employment he controlled completely. 34. Upon information and belief, Giuliani had an affair with Maria Ryan, who was Giuliani's partner, interim CEO, although Giuliani claims in the media that there was no proof that the two had sex. In addition, media reports noted that Giuliani had an affair with his communication director in 1990s. Media reports also reflect that Giuliani had an affair with Jennifer LeBlanc, a GPO fundraiser who, upon information and belief, received indirect payment from Giuliani and who, upon information and belief, worked in Gracie Mansion when Giuliani was mayor. And upon information and belief, Giuliani also hired 19-year-old Christiane Allen as communication director for Giuliani companies became, as he told Miss Dunphy, he had a certain sexual attraction for Miss Allen. In fact, Giuliani admitted to Miss Dunphy that he kissed Miss Allen. These statements were recorded. These statements were recorded. I'm sorry, guys. Um, Number 35, Miss Dunphy knew nothing about the hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Sorry, I'm getting messages. My apologies. Where am I at? Where am I at? Pre something. What did I say? Pre-dematory history up until she became a victim of the same scheme. C. Giuliani tries to hire Miss Dunphy in 2016 and then again in 2019. I. Giuliani first overtures in September 2016. In September 2016, Giuliani met Ms. Dunphy while both were waiting in the lobby of Trump Tower in Manhattan. 37. Ms. Giuliani spoke to Ms. Dunphy and began asking for details about her work and life, and then indicated that he was interested in hiring her to work for him. Ms. Dunphy had no reason to believe that the interaction was anything more than business. 39. Giuliani gave Ms. Dunphy his business card at the end of the interaction and asked that she contact him to talk further about working with him. 40. Ms. Dunphy had no intention of working with Giuliani and did not contact him. 41. Ms. Dunphy had no contact with Giuliani until he contacted her again in 2019. Number 2. Giuliani's second overture in January 2019. 42. On or about January 9, 2019, Giuliani sent Dunphy an unsolicited Facebook message and friend request. A true and correct copy of the Facebook friend request is annexed in Exhibit A, here in as Exhibit A. 43. Miss Dunphy was surprised that Giuliani had tracked her down years after their first interaction, but the time was fruitless as Miss Dunphy was seeking new career opportunities and she needed legal advice. Oh, how convenient, y'all. How convenient. Okay, number 44, Miss Dunphy accepted Giuliani's friend request and responded to his message. Giuliani invited her to a formal interview for a business development job with his organization. 45, Miss Dunphy agreed to meet Giuliani for the job interview in Florida, where she was living at the time. D. Giuliani hired Miss Dunphy as director of business development and agreed to represent Miss Dunphy pro bono, y'all. Pro bono. 46. Come on now. She knew there was some sort of hanky panky thing that was an agreement. Come on now. We're not dumb. Too good to be true. Come on now. She said it. If it feels too good to be true, it is too good to be true. All right. Number 46. On January 21st, 2019, Giuliani interviewed. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop in a few minutes, y'all, and we're gonna continue when I come back. January 21st, Giuliani interviewed Ms. Dunphy at the Trump International Golf Club at West Palm Beach, Florida. During the interview, he discussed Ms. Dunphy's career and experience and her legal issues. They also spoke about her ability to help Giuliani generate new revenue stream and support him to a day-to-day basis, including by fielding media inquiry. 47. The interview seems to go well. Giuliani told Ms. Dunphy that he was impressed by her experience and offer her a job as director of business development for Giuliani companies and also as his executive assistant for travel communication and public relations. 48. Giuliani told Miss Dunphy that her salary would be 1 million per year and that any business expense she incurred would be reimbursed. 49. Upon information and belief in the salary that Giuliani offered Ms. Dunphy was within the same general range that Giuliani and Giuliani Company paid other employees of Giuliani and Giuliani Companies when accounting for expenses and other benefits, including, for example, Miss Maria Ryan, who served in various roles. 50. During the job interview, Giuliani and Ms. Dunphy discussed that her responsibilities would be generating business opportunities, including speeches and clients, which Giuliani told her historically earned him approximately 10 million per year. Public relations work and as such as editing Giuliani's social media posts and ensuring that he was president presentable. I'm sorry, presentable to the public. Monitoring his email, assisting him in responding to email, and making travel arrangements, scheduling meeting, and generally being an on call for whatever Giuliani and his company needed. Giuliani told Ms. Dunphy that the job required her to be available 24/7. 51. As they talked, Ms. Dunphy suggested several ideas by which Giuliani and his company would generate revenue. These included creating podcasts, creating a Netflix series, documentaries, and other similar endeavors. Later, Giuliani took advantage of several of these suggestions, and Ms. Dunphy worked to develop some of those projects. 52. Giuliani and Ms. Dunphy also discussed during the interview that one day, I'm sorry, I gotta go back. 52. Hold on a second. Hold on, you. Somebody just sent me a message. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. All right. 52. Giuliani and Ms. Dunphy also discussed during the interview that she one day write a book on Giuliani and Trump. Number 53. Giuliani gave Ms. Dunphy permission to record her interaction and with Giuliani anytime, anywhere, as well as Giuliani interaction with others. Giuliani thereafter continually permitted and authorized Ms. Dunphy to make such recording, and he never asked her to stop recording any interaction. At times, Giuliani pressed record himself on Ms. Dunphy's cell phone to record their conversation. 54. As the parties reach agreement on a general term, Dunphy's employment, Giuliani added a strange requirement. Ms. Dunphy pay would have to be deferred and her employment kept secret until Giuliani's divorce proceeding finished. Giuliani claimed that this arrangement was necessary because his ex wife and her lawyer were watching his cash flow and he was limited to what he could spend and who he could hire. Giuliani also claimed that his ex wife would attack and retaliate against any female employee that Giuliani hired. 55. Giuliani told Dunphy that his divorce would settle any day now. Therefore, the need to keep their employment secret and pay her deferred would not last long. 56. Giuliani promised Miss Dunphy in that in meantime he would pay her in cash whenever he would do so that would could support herself during the deferred period. 57. During the interview, Giuliani offered Ms. Dunphy additional inducement. He had learned that she was a survivor of domestic abuse and offered to represent her pro bono in connection with her legal matter arising from these circumstances. Giuliani later sent Ms. Dunphy a letter confirming this arrangement. A redacted copy is which follows. Legal retainer says this is to acknowledge that I have been retained since January 21st, 2019 by Noelle Ashley Dunphy as her lawyer to advise her on all legal and analyze legal matters and to analyze the legal issue presented pending. End of Giuliani. And this was done at 12:16 a.m. on February 25th. 12:16 a.m. Wow. Okay, y'all. I'm going to stop right there and I will be back in 1 hour and I will finish reading this to you. Sorry guys, I gotta put in some work. It'll be part 2 to this, okay? And I'll see you guys in about an hour. I say about 10 o'clock, I'll see y'all. That's 2 hours to be sure. All right, guys, I'll see you guys later.